back to my daily tutorials. Remember the daily? So to see more, click subscribe and get the little bell button next to it to get notified when I put up a new video. This one is how to draw a dragon. Now it's very in detailed and some bits does go a bit fast, so don't forget to pause if you need to. I don't expect you to go same speed like I do, but yeah, full body dragon people, enjoy. Right people, how to draw a dragon. Now this is a really fun one and it's very in detail. So I'm going to go a little bit slow with this. So we're going to have two oval shapes here. The first one's going to be the big one, and that's going to be the main part of the head. And the second one's going to be the front part of the nose. We're going to create another two here, one inside the cheek bit, and one lower down just in front of the nose. That's going to be the jaw, and that's going to be the cheek. We're going to create two lines curving back to create a snout, and bring a curved line cutting through the oval shape with two circles. Make sure the left eye is a bit bigger than the other one, because of the positioning. We're going to create two curved lines now, connecting up to that bottom part of the jaw. I'm going to bring a sausage shape to create the lip. You want this at a bit of an angle because the face is going to be a little bit of an angle. I'm going to start with the nose, so I'm going to create this part of the nostril. So I'm going to curve it around and curve up to the oval shape. And now I'm going to create a little dip, bump up outside it, and curve back down going towards the eye. Now you want to make it quite interesting. You don't want to be perfectly smooth. You can do if you want, but I like to make it a bit more, detailed. So we're going to create a line here to create the nostrils. It's going to curve around, and you want it to spike up quite high and curve down quite sharply into the nose part. Now this is the upper lip. You want to bring the curved line up and curve the line down in between it, fairly parallel to it. And here we've got these two fan shapes. Now basically the edge of the fan is going to be where each part of his moustache is going to go, lengthwise. It's going to be repeated sort of like spikes. So straight line out, straight line coming back, curving around like so. Now we're going to apply this to a lot of the face. There's a lot of hair on there. Now the teeth, you've got two curved fangs. So two curved lines connecting up to make the fangs, and four little circles to make the teeth. Now we're going to put a little bit more detail towards the eye. So we're going to create this little bump just coming above the eye, where we can make the eyebrows kind of span off of. So now I'm going to reinforce those eyes, so bring a bit of a darker shade around them, and the left eye I'm going to bring a little line coming back just to sort of show the shape of it. Now here, again, we're going to make more of these spikes. Around the eyes though, I'll make them a little bit more uneven. The fan ones down there on the nose are fairly even, these ones I like to make a bit different in lengths. The same on the other eye just there. And now I'm going to create a little bit of head. So we're going to bump up here, curve down and curve up. So you see you're sort of going against that oval shape now. And a little mark just down there we're going to put the large tooth. Make sure this tooth sits behind the eyes. You don't want it in front, you want it behind. You can have it a bit more curved if you want. I quite like it at this kind of angle. But you can have it more down if you want. We're going to create this little bumpy line now. It's going to connect up that tooth to the front part of the snout. Now each little bump is going to be a space for an extra tooth. So see, we've got two teeth in there on the bumps, and we've got a little tooth just down the bottom, connecting up to the lower part of the mouth. I've got a little curved line there, just around that bump as well, just to kind of accentuate the shape. Now bringing this bumpy line, so we're going to curve around and just keep creating like little semicircle shapes, curving around that bottom part of the jaw. And that's going to curve line out here. Don't worry too much about this, because we're going to have some spikes on it. It's just kind of like reinforce your shape, so you know where to make the spikes come off of. Now bring a curved line, and that sausage shape we've done, we're going to reinforce this now and curve around to make that bottom lip. I like to make it quite wide, because I might like to make the bottom part of the jaw, like the main teeth, quite wide as well. So you see you've got the two fangs, which are two big curved lines, and four little circles to make those four teeth in the middle. The jaw is two bumps coming down. And again, we're going to have these spikes. I like to space them out quite a bit, because I'm going to have other spikes now coming in between each one of those. And a little bit just on the other side of the mouth as well. Now up next, we're going to do the tongue. So we're going to get two lines coming out, curving and coming up to a point. Very lizard-like, you can have it sort of split into two if you want. I like it to come out quite like this. I'm not really a fan of the two splits. Now the back of the mouth, very similar to the other bits, we're going to create these long spikes. I'm going to space these out fairly, a fair space between them, because I want to know one to fit in between, a little bit shorter than the other ones. It just gives like a really nice texture to the back of the mouth, which I quite like to do. And now we're going to create the ear. So you can see these two sort of curved lines in the space coming outside the oval is going to be roughly where you want it to sit. So you're going to start from the top of it, you're going to create a curved line outwards, coming out to a point, curving back, and create a nice curve at the bottom, just to shape off the rest part of the ear. Now here, just done a little bit of detail just around the head, so another bump. So you see the top of the head's going to have two bumps now, and these bumps are going to be where the horns are going to come out of. It just gives a good positioning for it. Now you want to let the horns to sit down quite low, as if they're sort of coming out from inside there. So two big spikes, and then one spike on each one of those a little further down. Now we're going to make the shape a bit jaggedy, so we're going to bump it in and out, so it's not smooth, and create a few little detail lines just inside to give it a bit of kind of bony kind of texture. You can make it smooth, but I prefer when they're not. Now the body, we're going to build up stage by stage. Each stage is going to be like this long sausage shape. And when we get to the top, we're then going to build another one coming off of that. So you see here, this one curves underneath and curves off. Now pay attention, you want to make sure that each one of these is on a different level. You don't want nothing parallel. So when you sort of draw a line horizontally, you want to make sure that nothing really sort of like matches up too much. So you see, you've got the next sausage shape, which is going to curve around. And then we're going to start the arm. So the arm is going to be based up with three circles, a little line connecting in that fan shape. So you see, that's the shoulder, the elbow, and the hand. And that's the basic structure, and then we want to basically flesh it out now. So you're going to create curved lines coming around it, following the shape of it, just making it a bit more interesting. The back of the elbow, I'm going to add a few spikes to. Now the claws, I'm going to do 3 on it. You can do as many as you want, it doesn't really matter. I prefer to do 3, 3 is my magic number. Curved lines, a circle, and then a little triangle curving off of each one. And then we're going to flesh out around that to make the claws and the fingers and the claws. So see, each claw is a section bit, so I curve those off just to the edge. And add this little bit of detail, so you're basically making these circular curves coming off of the fingers, going upwards into the arm. I tend to bring this up to about halfway through the arm. I don't bring it the whole way through. So you see here, just as it gets to the elbow bit, I cut off those curves. You see here, now I bring the shape for the other arm. Now you don't necessarily have to bring them exactly shoulder to shoulder. With dragons, they can kind of be a bit uneven if you want. You just kind of put it whatever you feel is going to be right. I want it to be in this position. So following the same format, got the lines going around there into the body. So the body here, you can see I've done all these circles going down. Now the reason for this is going to give me the perfect template to make the body shape curves off. So you see, you've got the underbelly. So basically off of each one of those circles on the bottom part, I've just followed that line curving around to create that belly. You'll see here I've done on the other part there as well. And it just gives you the perfect spacing, so you ain't got to worry about getting the curves in the right place. You just follow those circles as a guideline, and the position you want, and you get a perfect curve. So now here I've drawn a line down the centre of each part of the body. So everywhere I kind of feel is the centre part of the back, I've put this line in. And off of this, I've just built these spikes. So these little spikes just curving all the way around along that back. You can make these different. You could have sort of more spikes. I prefer one strip of spikes. Now coming off of each part of the belly, I bring this curved line going up. So diagonally going upwards this way. And then I'm going to bring diagonal lines coming down the other way. Now this is going to be a guideline for when I'll put the scales in. Now it's a very good way of doing this because each one of these diamond shapes is going to be a scale now. So you basically want to bring your curves like so. And make sure each one sort of curves around, and then the one above it sits about halfway through it. So basically just keep filling in each one of these diamond shapes as a curve. And it's a perfect guideline for building up those scales. We're going to do this for the rest of the body now. Like so. So bring that across. Same principle, so bring those diagonal lines all the way across from the body a shape around. And use that as your basis to fill in those semicircles. Just like so. I like to bring them down through the arm, and when I go through the arm, I make them slightly separate to what I do the other part of the body, so it kind of follows its own kind of shape. Now drawing in 2 whiskers here, so just coming from behind these moustache, one sort of like very unevenly just curve around this way, and the other going that way. Now this box I put in the background, it's just so I can putting a bit of background. It really kind of like helps bring out the image. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to throw in a whole bunch of like circles. Each one of these circles is going to be a cherry blossom. Now I want them more dominating to the right hand of the screen. So there's more going that way, and they're going to fade off to the left. Now each cherry blossom is going to be drawn like this. So I'm going to start off with a big circle. Just like so. And once you've got the circle, we're then going to bring in another little circle just on the inside part of it. Just like that. Now you can make this bigger or smaller if you want. You know, I like to make it fairly small. But you can easily adjust your cherry blossoms just by changing the sizing of these. Now I'm going to divide this up into 5 sections. Just like so. And each section is basically going to be a petal, and you're going to have a little bit of a leaf in between these. So I bring these curved lines coming up to the centre points, but leaving a little space in between. So that you're not connecting the lines, you want a little gap just in between each one. And you're going to bring a little V shape just in each one of those. And I'm going to bring in 2 semicircles at the base of each one of those, just to fall around that circle shape. Now here, we've got spiking leaves, so you basically want to fit each one of these in each one of these gaps. Now inside these, I'm going to bring a little straight line and a little dot just on the end. Really simple little feature. And that's it for the cherry blossoms. That's how we're going to draw each one of these. So I'm going to fill that in, and I'm going to do these in each side of each one of these. When they overlap, I'm going to have one sitting underneath the other one. Now you can choose which way you want this, you know, but this is my general layout that I'm going to do. So you can see I kind of got them over the top, and where it goes underneath, I basically just erase the lines. So we take down off the circles now, so just rub out those outside lines, like so. And you see we've got a nice kind of spacing for these. I really like how these are all kind of fitting together now. And I'm going to start colouring it in with the pen. So I'm going to bring in the outline. So I'm going to start off with the face, and just slowly work my way across. Going through the body, bring that side part of the arm. And as I sort of do inside part details, I'm going to use a thinner liner. So I'm going to use thicker liner for the big bold parts. So like the outside of the body, the lines for the belly, the spikes going up the back. You know, most of those are going to be done with a big bold liner. And then like the scales and the inside body parts, I'm going to use a much thinner liner. So you can see here, inside the cherry blossoms as well, I've done a thinner liners on the inside. You know, I think it's very nice to have a couple of different line thicknesses. You know, it just really brings the image out. So I've done this for little parts like detailing, like inside the horns, a little bit line inside the teeth, like a little bit narrow, and just around the nose, just following the nose shape. So you see it's all starting to come together quite nicely now. So now I'm going to start adding some shading. I'm going to start off with the black and grey to begin with. So I'm going to go a bit around the nose on the lower part, a bit around the lip, inside the mouth, and just a bit around the chin to start with. I like to go quite heavy and fade out very quickly, so a very quick transition. A little bit around the eye, a little bit just underneath the tooth, and a little bit on top of the head. So it's going to build it up section by section, just piece by piece. So a little bit here, just above the ear, just fading outwards. Just like so. I'm just going to go a little bit here now in one of the whiskers. So fade that off, and a little bit just behind the spikes on the cheek. In the same shrine of jaw. And now I'm going to colour in a bit of black inside the ear. You know, it's going to fill up most of the ear and fade off quite quickly. And I'm going to do a little bit just behind the head. So a little bit behind the horns and a bit behind the spikes. You know, very important because it kind of just separates the head from the body. Which is what you want. You want it to be like nice and dominant in front. So now I'm going to bring a little bit of shade into the arm. So where the arm sits underneath, I'm doing a bit of black just fading off of there. And underneath all those scaly parts, I'm just doing a little bit of black fading off. Just like so. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit of shade just coming off. You know, because it is going to be in colour, so I don't want to go too crazy with the black. You know, a lot of the shading is going to be done with the colour. You know, if you want to do it black and grey, you can put a lot more black and grey, black in there. Now just underneath the body parts, so underneath that main part of the body, a little bit there just on the belly. And similar just here, behind the arm, I'm putting a bit of shade. So I say a very quick transition, so you know, go quite dark and a very quick fade off. A little bit here, just behind the rest of the body now. So you can see the structure kind of building up because of these shadows. You know, these shadows really tell what sits in front and what sits behind. Now just putting these spirals in the background, just to add a little bit of cloud detail. So I've done a little line just for that box, and just little spirals basically to fill that in. So now here I'm just putting a bit of shade in the background. So literally putting like pure black, coming around the main parts of the outside. And when I get inside each one of those clouds, I'll go a bit lighter. On the outside, I go a bit black. So now I'm going to jump into colour. So the body, I'm going to go for this nice blue. I'm going to bold it in a nice blue, and I'm going to leave a little highlight on each one of those scales. I'm going to do the same thing on the arm, the rest of the body, and I'll talk you through the face when I do the face. And once I've done the main blue, I'm going to come in and use different sort of variations. I'm going to use a bit of a darker blue and a little bit of a lighter blue, just to kind of like show the shape of it a bit more. You don't have to. You can use the one solid colour if you want. It looks good both ways, but I'm going to show you how both techniques look, and you can choose whether you want to do it one or the other way. So you see, this is what the main part of the body looks like if you do it just one colour, like one big bold solid bit. And here's if we do a bit of gradation. So you see, just on the outside bit, I've done a little bit of a dark shade coming in, and I've made that centre line just a little bit lighter. So if you just follow the centre line of the body, that's what you do lighter. Now the face, I'm coming in with a blue, and this is what it looks like as a bold blue around it. I'm going to put in a little bit of shade now, so a little bit of highlight. Mainly you're sitting on the top part, so the top part of the horns, the top part of the eye, a little bit on the upper part of the cheek, upper part of the nose. Anywhere that kind of sits down. So if you imagine the light coming from the top, that's where you want it. Now the body's going to be in red, so all that body bit around there, I'm going to do red, and just a little bit of a lighter red just coming in every now and again. Like I said, you don't have to do that if you don't want. You can do it one solid reds, but I like to do a few. So the rest of the body here, I've got yellow coming in. All those little gap bits, I've got a lovely yellow coming in. And on the spikes in the face, I've got yellow going into a bit of an orange towards the outside. I love this. It kind of gives a hint of got green to the body without it being green at all. And once we've got this, I'm going to add a little bit of colour in the mouth. So now the tongue's red, the lips are purple, a little bit of pink inside the ear, and a brown texture inside the horns, the claws, and the teeth. Now the eyes, I've done this really nice mint green colour. You can do it any colour you want, with a little white highlight and a little yellow speck just towards the side of it. I choose not to do a pupil, but you can do a pupil if you want. Now the cherry blossoms, we're going to do like this really nice pink, fading off, and we're going to do red, just inside the centre bit fading outwards. And then a lovely like nice kind of lime green to fill in those leaf bits. Now the centre part is going to be yellow. Like so. And there we have it. That's pretty much it. That is how you draw a dragon, people. I said there's sort of type variations. I'll do a few more of these as well, because I love drawing dragons. But yeah, I really hope that helps you. Take your time with it, don't worry about doing that whole thing. But yeah, enjoy it. And once you've done it, make sure you tag me in pictures. I love seeing what you guys do with this stuff. So yeah, I am The Broken Puppet, and I'll see you next time, people. Peace.